Yo, what's up? What's up? It's Tommy Hamilton, aka the Hungry Millennial, back with another Bite audio experience. This week on the Bite, I am bringing to you a recommendation of my favorite sports podcast, and that is Jalen and Jacoby. This podcast is probably, honestly, it's the best podcast offered by ESPN, period. For a while, they was hitting like late night ESPN2 stuff, and then they got a little bit of prime time on television. But whenever I need that up-to-date sports take, whether it's, the Kawhi trade, Jalen Rose predicted that prior to everything that transcended from LeBron leaving the Cavs to where he was going to land and how it was going to land. And then even the current cooking Anthony Davis situation, Jalen Rose is always spot on. His co-host, Jacoby, smart dude, very, very humble. He's always up to date. Jalen Rose does a lot of features on regular ESPN primetime shows. And so Jacoby always finds a way to bring some type of star, some type of host, some type of veteran to the show. The other day, I was listening to the podcast and they had Fat Joe on there. He talked about there was a New York blackout when they was trying to, host a major basketball game. That podcast is actually still up. I think that's like last week's podcast or a couple weeks ago. But Jalen and Jacoby, they're really into hip hop. They know about hip hop. They know about music. And shout out to their DJ Reg. You'll figure it out. If you actually check out the podcast, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But if you don't, hey, it's just irrelevant, right? But I highly recommend this podcast. It gets me through my days because they've always got some fresh, new, hot take. And then they also do a Women Crush Wednesdays. So they have Wednesday live callers come in. So, this podcast, whenever I want to get away from that motivation, the motivational podcast, or I don't want to listen to the Pep Talk app or something like that, it's kind of it's refreshing to have an awesome, great look on sports that I can actually get into. They break the sports down to the smallest level so that all their viewers can understand. It's a family-friendly podcast, so if you got little ones and you want to play the podcast, that works there. But they're always being innovative. They're always offering fresh new ideas, and it's almost like the new source. To me, a lot of times, they're Woj before it even happens. Jalen Rose's predictions are spot on. He has an extra edge because he was in the NBA, but honestly, his analytics are next level. And it's not going to. What I really like about this podcast is it's not going to bore you with stats. So that's a huge plus because, a lot of people, they talk about percentage that, but this is a realistic take. I think it's the average modern man's take on, they're excellent hosts, but I think it's a modern take on basketball, football, just any sport. They cover, everything from golf to tennis. So it's a very well-rounded podcast. I highly recommend it. Please check it out. This has been a episode with the Hungry Millennial. Like, share, subscribe. If you like the podcast, just let me know. So appreciate you. Thank you.